What's your favorite question to ask someone to get to know them better? How many zombies have you killed? How many people? Why? Have you gone on any cool vacations lately? What's been keeping you busy? Would you rather have knees or elbows? You can only have one. Why are you wearing your shoes on your hands? When's the last time you shit your pants? How much do you lift? Do you return your shopping cart? If you could send 4 bytes of data back in time, what, where, when, and why? When interviewing people, my last question is always, what is the one accomplishment in your life that you are the most proud of? This is your chance to brag about you. I get some of the most heartfelt responses by asking that, and it really gets to the core of what a person is about. Creamy or crunchy peanut butter? What is your name and pronouns? What's the worst thing you've done to someone? If you were given a chance to kill me, would you do it? What's your zodiac sign? What's your hobby? So, you Blaze? If you could only have 3 rules to live by, what would they be? What would you do if you got pregnant? Or, what would you do if your ex got pregnant and told you that you were the father? Their responses would either make or break a potential relationship with me. What did you do today? I always ask someone what a really good album they've listened to recently is. I find that you learn a boatload about people through their musical tastes. It's not like film/games/TV, people tend to have a much strong emotional resonance with music, and finding out what they like and why they like it so much is both really fun to talk about and gives a ton of insight into them without the person feeling all awkward like they're talking about themselves. What is your favorite Outkast album and why is it Stankonia? Ya like jazz? If Jesus came down from the sky, just like you pictured, and said the Bible is a construct of man, meant to control you, what would you do and why? What is your most prized possession? What's the best compliment you've ever received? You get to see what people truly love about themselves, being funny, being a good cook. You get to remind them that we see the good things, we notice them. It's fun to ask in a group cause the vibes get good, and if they can't think of one, we all think of good compliments together. So what made you drawn into, insert profession here? If money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing with your life? Not tell me about yourself. So bad. Want some drugs? What's your name, girl? What's your sign? Woozy face. It used to be what do you think insects dream about, but then someone googled it and told me insects don't dream. I guess it still worked. They ended up being a pain in the ass know-it-all. How has it been working with your manager/company? I'ma write these down. How do you feel about poor people? How much you bench? What's the smallest dog you've seen and why? Glenn, from Superstore. Would you want your parents' marriage? I like to ask people 2 questions. 1, what's your favorite color, and why? This can sometimes give insight into how a person thinks or how they consider the world around them. Sometimes people just have interesting answers, and sometimes they don't. It's fun to ask strangers as it pulls them out of the standard "how are you, I'm fine, have a good day" scripts we all say. 2, what are your hobbies and interests? Hobbies are a thing you do for enjoyment, whereas an interest is something you like or find interesting and maybe keep up with intellectually, but take no further action on. Hobbies show what someone does to relieve stress and enjoy themselves. Interests can become fun talking points with people. Examples: I homebrew soda, paint miniatures, and rock climb as hobbies, but I have a keen interest in rocketry and nuclear fusion reactors. I do the first 3 things and don't do the last 2. What was your highest and lowest point in your life? Usually just ask the best year and worst year. My new favorite question is asking if you were turned into an animated character, what would your forever outfit be? I find it tells you a lot about how they see their quintessential self. What do you know a lot about that you don't often get to nerd out about? For me, the history of English, and deaf culture, and Shakespeare, and serial killers, and the Wheel of Time. What's your biggest regret? What are you most passionate about? Calling it now. These questions will show up as AskReddit posts throughout the following days. Me. What's something cool happening in your hobby/area of interest? Haven't tried it yet, but I'm holding on to it for the next opportunity I get. Who's your daddy? And what does he do? What do you do on weekends? I normally ask this during the interview. How's your life going on during this pandemic? This helps the candidate, especially freshers, open up, free up from their stress built up in some way and get comfortable. If not, they just don't say anything at all. What's your biggest pet peeve? People love talking about what annoys them. What was your AOL/AIM screen name back in the day? This always brings up something hilarious and unexpected, like your super bubbly coworker used to go by Gothgirl89 or something. If you were a professional baseball player, what would be your walk-up song? You get way better answers to this than asking people what music they listen to. I love asking people questions. My husband calls me the question master. Sometimes in a bad way, depending on the day. I asked a panel to tell me a joke after my third-round interview. Everyone had gotten to know each other pretty well and made it seem like everything was super relaxed and calm. The interview was for a C-level sales position and the sales manager said a blonde joke. It told me everything I needed to know about the company culture and was actually relieved I didn't get hired. This is proof Redditors have no idea how to have a real conversation. What sort of things do you like to do with your time? This has really worked well with people not able to be in paid work and saved them stress and embarrassment. Better than what do you do? Which usually refers to paid work. Also, for someone in a relationship, how did you meet your partner? I find those stories fascinating. When getting to know someone and they tell you what they do, job, ask them what they enjoy about it. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? What was your favorite Christmas gift you've ever received? Who's your daddy and what does he do? Are you single? What do your family and friends buy you for holidays or a birthday? What kind of art do you have in your house? I can't take credit for this one, but a friend of mine, an absolutely brilliant professor, always uses "what do you want to be when you're grown up," specifically with adults. It gets a good chuckle right off the bat and then leads into personal aspirations and all that fun stuff. It's also an innocent way to filter out the more tightly wound people as well. I actually hate it when I feel like the person will judge me based on my answer to their question. I think the best way is to take your time to get to know someone. What's something invisible you wish was visible? Does this napkin smell like chloroform? What would your wrestling theme song be? Do you own any GME? Who's your favorite doctor? If you had to get a meme tattooed, which one would you get? What advice would you give Colin Kaepernick? What's your least favorite animal? If you had a boat, what would you name it? I like to ask people about what their typical day looks like, and if I'm trying to get them talking, I'll ask about their first job. The key to getting to know people better is listening to them, so going in loaded with questions trying to figure out when to fire them off isn't maybe as effective as seeing where the conversation naturally steers you and listening with enthusiasm. Unironically, what is your favorite color and why? Simple enough to not get too intrusive, gets them talking with the why, and lets you in on one of the most intimately selected parts of the person. What is the craziest dream you've ever had? Assortits? What are your favorite comedy movies? What time is it? What's your favorite food that most people don't like or never heard of? What do you think happens after you die? What do you enjoy doing in your free time? I couldn't care less what people do for work, whether they are in a relationship or have kids or where they went to school. I'm interested in what we could possibly do together to increase quality of life. Where they grew up and if they have traveled anywhere. I always like to wake people, and it's very open-ended. What do you believe in? Favorite Roblox game? I like asking people what their favorite flower is. It's really cute when I ask guys, because a lot of the time their faces light up and they'll sound really excited. Mine are tulips BTW.